One of the things you should definitely abstain from doing is listening to any politician on the left who wants to teach and educate you about who is making too much money. In fact, and let me just be crystal clear here. Any politician who talks about people making too much money, you should stop listening to immediately, because there shouldn't be a there shouldn't be a roof, ceiling. Why am I blinking so much on the words today? I don't really know. But whatever. There shouldn't be any ceiling at all to how much money you could make. You should be able to make infinite amounts of money in any single country. Once upon a time, I heard a statement that was so wild and outrageous. I didn't know whether to think that the person saying this statement was trolling, or that they actually didn't know any better. Here's the statement, and then I'll link it, then I'll brief it, then I'll talk a little bit more about it. Essentially, this is what the statement was. In a good country, nobody should make more than the head of state. Think about it. It's outrageous. I'll say the statement again so that you can think about it. In a good country, nobody should make more than the head of state. That's dictatorship right there. That's back to the vassals, the peasants, the landed gentry, and the royalty, the royal families, the feudalism that haunted Europe back in the Dark Ages, back in the dark medieval ages. That's what it is. Because anybody should be able to make as much money as they want. Here is actually something that's a telltale sign, in my opinion, of a good country. In a good country, there is no surplus of money, because the surplus of money is being distributed to its citizens. Essentially meaning the bank balance of each country's fiscal year, at the end of each fiscal year, should be zero. Now, realistically, that's not possible, right? Because there's just too many particulars and too many ways that money is being made and stored and made and banked, etc., etc., etc. But the point is, when there is a surplus, that surplus shouldn't be in the country's bank balance. It should be in the hands of its citizens. That's what any good country does. And so when somebody says, in a good country, nobody should make more than the head of state, that reminds me of all of these politicians who complain about people being overpaid. Because who are these politicians who claim that people are being overpaid? They're usually broke leftists who hate money, because they have this perverted notion that money is an evil thing, that money is the root to all evil, when we know for a fact that the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's different. Look, we all need money. It's a tool. It's not something that we should adorn or cherish. But it is something that we should strive to work for, because it's a valuable tool that we need to survive in today's modern world. And so anybody who wants to persuade you to think that the idea of people making too much money, they're broke, both in spirit and attitude, as well as, pretty much just as a whole. They got a broken personality, they got a broken worldview, and they got a toxic worldview. In fact, that's the real toxic worldview. Everybody should be able to make as much money as they could, because it's money that we need. Try saying that to the broken family who struggle to make ends meet, where they can't pay their bills, they can't pay their loans, an unexpected expense will bankrupt the whole family. And they can hardly afford to even drive to the gas station because gas prices are soaring. And then you have these morons, these leftist politicians, who say dumb shit like These people make too much money. Don't listen to them. Listen to people who preach the virtues of hard work and therefore payment and therefore also compensation. Hard work should equal high compensation. A high work rate should equal high compensation. That's the persuasion you want to be looking for. If you want to learn more about persuasion and sales, then get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is in the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this, and I'll see you there.